Alright guys, let's look what's happening with the price of Bitcoin. Last time you remember we were pointing out that this zone, this red area, is an important support. So if the price holds above the zone, that we could see a huge move to the upside, and this is exactly what is happening. Well, actually already happened. Also, there's a resistance line here and a resistance level over here and above the previous high, and just as soon as price went above those two important key levels and key line, we saw this massive surge. Generally, it's also somehow associated with the news about PayPal kind of allowing you to utilize Bitcoin and so on and so forth. But me personally, I don't really like to think that this is the general reason for that, because as usually news are just some kind of excuse for the price move, and instead of that I would like to point out an important dependence on the price of Bitcoin from the Tether capitalization. You know that there's a kind of a speculation that Tether is minted without much of the real dollars backing it on the real accounts. So generally you may say that, okay, Tether is printed and this is basically money from the thin air, and so with this Tether Bitcoin got bought, so that's how we can pump the price a lot. So basically that happened in 2019, and we saw it 2020 as well. Moreover, when the capitalization of Tether, this is blue line here, drops, we saw some decrease in the price of Bitcoin as well in the end of 2019. You remember this drop from $6,000 to $3,000, and the other way around, as soon as the capitalization of Tether grows, then we start to see the move of Bitcoin to the upside. There was some kind of a delay of something like 4 weeks before a very, very clear dependence and a correlation, and this is the thing which we are continuing to see right now. So as soon as the capitalization of Tether grows, we see move of the price in the price of Bitcoin higher one way or another, with a little delay sometimes, but still it happens. And it continued to happen until the very recent time. I would like to point out two different kind of ways of the capitalization of Tether growing. Here we have a more or less slow increase in the capitalization, and at the same time we had like a step-like increase after that. So I would say that this is a more stable increase or in the price of Bitcoin, which is correlated to the increase of the capitalization. And we had the same one, well, a very kind of similar one happening recently in the recent month or two. And this is a little bit mixture of the two different cases, with this sudden rise and then gradual increase as well. So it's actually hard to make like a very clear conclusion from that. But in any case, what we do have is that this rise in the capitalization is starting to flattening out. And I would say that it's very likely, of course not 100% sure, but it's very likely that as soon as we see this kind of flat region over there, then it might be that we will have a correction which is kind of anticipated after this whole move to the upside. So it's actually quite confluent with another idea. Let me actually show you the actual chart right here with this growth from $4,000 being kind of a five-wave. If you look at this from the Elliott wave theory, well, actually this count is not exactly correct. I would say it's probably better to make like 1 over here and 2 somewhere around here, because 4 cannot be below 1. But in any case, the basic idea is similar. So we have like a 3 legs to the upside, major moves, and we have 2 corrections in between, and the 5th wave actually could be much higher. In fact, it could bring us to this 17,000 and so on. But this is very similar to the scenario which we had in 2019, when we also had like consolidation and then the growth. Also this threefold price rise scenario. And it's also confluent with a lot of indicators behavior. For example, RSI, you see those 3 consequent peaks here and 3 peaks over there. Generally, this is a little bit slower process, but again, we didn't have a consolidation here, so we had to consolidate and reaccumulate in between of the rises, while here we had this consolidation. So it's kind of reasonable. And the main point here, first, it could be the top of the rise of the whole move to the upside, which is very likely to happen, or it might be like intermediate point, but before we make another rally, let's say to area above $20,000 or something like that, we actually should have a correction, similar correction to the one which we had after the previous rise. Will it happen after $13,000, $15,000, 16? We don't know, but this is very likely to happen again if the situation will repeat itself, or at least will rhyme with the previous kind of scenario. That is the main point, guys. Short term though, I must say that we didn't have much of the drop after we reached the highest point here, something like $13,200. And it basically means that we are still have the chance to make another leg to the upside. And as soon as we have, like, the huge candle, green candle with huge also upper shadow, then that might be the similar like a indication for the fact that we are somewhere around the local high, just exactly as we saw here. At the same time, the situation with the news on PayPal, I think it's very similar to what we had with this Chinese blockchain usage case news here in October 2019. And again, we had a lot of the decrease in price after that, so whole growth was pretty much eaten by the consequent correction. So it's a little bit alarming right now, so I wouldn't be surprised that we actually had this local high, despite we are making this kind of a bullish pennant, or probably it will be a bullish flag eventually. Speaking about the trading plan, what we can do is that I would say that probably this triangle again will be like a channel eventually. So if you would want to make a little bit of risky trade, then probably it's a good idea to make a long entry below $12,500, but it's really hard to put a stop order here. It should be pretty low. So again, it's a risky trade. On the other hand, probably the another idea is to go short, or at least close your long positions or sell your spot Bitcoin at some point when we have the signs of this whole growth is ending. And again, I already point out the major markers for that. So let's see how it all goes. And that is it for today, guys. I hope that it was useful. I wish you a lot of profit in your trades, and see you next video. Goodbye.